Hello, good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. You're live right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel with me, Dom, and that is Huddie. It is 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 13th day of May, year of our Lord 2024. Welcome in, welcome in. We got Austin, Gerald, Rookie Plays, Joseph in the chat. Feel free to use that area to ask questions, talk about tickers, talk amongst yourselves. I don't care what you use it for. I like to read it. It makes me happy, especially when times are slow. Here on Good Morning NASDAQ, it's a little pre-market prep show. It's a way to spend the mornings with us before we head on over to the Clover room and dive deep into our plans for the day and into some trading. We like to go through the gappers of the day, talk about the fundamentals, the news, the catalyst, the daily charts, talk about the overall, theme going on in the market right now, whether it be the overall market and what the indices are doing, or any themes we're noticing in small cap land, whether it be certain types of gap moves, certain types of daily charts, whatever it is. We just try to fill the time slot that we're here with some good conversation, some education, and hopefully you learn something, have a good time. So don't be afraid to ask any questions, bring up any tickers. We'd be happy to get to them once we kind of wrap up with whatever shindig we want to talk about for the first little while. I'll bring in Mr. Huddie. How we doing this morning?
We're doing well. Thank you for the intro. We are experiencing a little bit of nostalgia this morning, it looks like.
It certainly does, and I'm sure we'll get into that here. And I think you guys know where we're going with that. Comment the ticker you think we're going to start with when we bring up the word nostalgia, especially as it was in play last week. Take a guess. Let's see if you can guess it right. We got people in here filtering in. Make sure that you're hitting that thumbs up button. It's this little button that looks like this. You're going to click it. That's going to add to the like count, and that's going to make us and our egos feel really good about the time we spend here every morning. And make sure, double check, triple check, quadruple check that you and all of your significant others, friends, family, and relatives are subscribed right here to the Clover Trading YouTube channel. Any friends you think might be interested in getting into the game of trading, we post long form content every single week, every Monday, and we're live every single day that the market is open. What more could you want? Subscribe to the channel. And we got some really good, fun videos coming in terms of long-form content. We were together a month and a half ago, and we filmed a lot of good videos. You're going to get to know us a little bit more. Got some new ideas. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to check out those videos. As well as this Wednesday, we have an all-day webinar, link in the description if you want access. We're going to do this all day long. We're going to talk in the pre-market. We're going to talk during the open. We're going to talk during the mid-morning. We're going to talk after lunch. We're going to talk into the close. We're going to answer your questions, talk about our patterns, live trade. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can get access to that. Link in the description below, clovertrading.io, $59 for the all-day webinar, and then that will get you access to the recording of the all-day webinar, as well as 30, 40, 50% off discounts into Clover Trading as well that we normally only run during live boot camps. All right. Got some GMEs going on in the chat. AMC, Jimmy's, Roaring Kitties. Let's get into it, Huddie. Start me off. Talk to me. Over the weekend.
So I think we have to go back. Yeah, we have to go back to Friday. We're obviously going to talk about GME here and what it kind of means for I guess today. We'll see how long this kind of lasts. But Friday we had a great little breakout on GME. Finally got over that 1750 level that it had been quadruple or quintuple topping out at. We got a nice breakout, and it seemed like it was one of those situations where it was like heavily crowded to the long side. You could see it on the call buying side. I think a lot of people were just looking to bank on some options if GME closed over 20 by Friday. And I don't know if it's market makers or you put the finger on it and you call them they, but it looks like they didn't allow that move to happen on Friday. And it sold off after briefly touching 20 and came right back down to the breakout level. Closed rather weak. Coming into today, it's gapping up. Again, I don't know who they are. I don't know if this was all on purpose, but we're having a nice gap up. And it's directly correlated, in my opinion, to Roaring Kitty, who created his first tweet in 3 years over the weekend, last night specifically. And I really do feel like he has that effect on GME. He's the guy that ran it from, the original $5 a share all the way to, 100 something. And this is the first time he's tweeted in 3 years. And it's right after GME had a breakout. So it's all kind of it's interesting, and he's got some crowdsourcing effect clearly.
Yeah, that's what it appears. I did a video lesson for all you 4-leaf clovers over the weekend regarding my GME trade, kind of buying in anticipation of that breakout through that quadruple million trillionth top at 17s. Got the move I was looking for, didn't sell it all in the 20s, unfortunately, and that was a big regret of mine. Comes back down, closes pretty much right at or below the breakout level, and we're getting this move this morning. I do think it's probably a lot of retail. I think you probably have the options play involved as well of people thinking it was going to happen by Friday, so they kind of make that move. They say no, you don't get paid today, and then they do the move anyway. But I think you have a lot of people just market ordering in this morning. I don't have access to the 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. charts. I don't know what it did then, but it looks like the bigger move happened at 7. Is that right or not right? Huddie?
Let me check what my chart looks. Let me check what my chart looks like. It looks like it all started. It all started like 4 a.m.
It started at 4. What was the high? Was it higher than this in the 4 to 7 a.m. time frame?
It channeled between 21 and 20, between 2 to 4 a.m. Looks like my chart says, and then it started to go with volume.
Okay, so yeah, so if that makes sense, 7, 8 o'clock when all the regulars can come in and buy. I don't know what time. What time does Robinhood start? 7. It makes sense that they were like
but it just
8.
naturally gapped up.
Yeah, it was already gapping. Well, you did have. There was definitely going to be a bid with that tweet. He hasn't tweeted in a long time. For those of you who don't know, you should go check out the movie. What is it? Dumb Money. Great film. I watched it on a plane. It's a great little time killer, but it's also fun. Whenever you can see any, like, I love The Big Shorts, Wolf of Wall Street, stuff that you kind of have a bigger, you know it more than the average folk watching it because you know what the ins and outs of what's actually going on. So it's kind of fun, but we also kind of, for anyone that lived through the GME AMC stuff, it's kind of cool to see what was going on behind the scenes, even if it isn't 100% accurate. But and we're in the midst of a big gap up 40% after a failed breakout. Hard to know where we're at in the chart here. Quite interesting. Someone just put in the Clover chat that someone made a kitty coin a month ago, and of course he comes back, and now it's already up 8,000%. So that's pretty funny and hilarious. We'll see if Kyle knows anything about that. But GME,
the memes live on.
GME meme stock, big breakout of a 17 area. If we go back further on the daily chart, I become less interested now. If you watch my video lesson, the main interest for me was, I don't like to go against what Huddie says, and Huddie doesn't like when I'm buying breakouts into resistance or on bag holder charts. But if I can capture a small predictable piece of the move, and I really thought 16 to 20 was very predictable. Didn't know it would be perfectly predictable in terms of topping exactly at 20, and if I didn't sell there, I was selling in the 17s. But there's a lot of levels here. You can draw your lines for days because this stock has been on a tumble since that debacle back in 2021, and you've got as low as like $10 here and starting to make its way off its lows. The inquisitive nature of me, the degen part of me, wonders, you go in the woods after what, a $40 million trade, and you don't talk, no one knows where you are, what you're doing, and you tweet that over the weekend. Is this the start of the move? Is this as good as it gets? Is this the, just a little brief window into what the future holds for GME into the summer? A lot of questions that we don't know the answer to, that all we're going to be able to do is sit back, wait, and see. I can promise you I won't just be buying the hype, buying it up here. I would happily be a seller, say that it was a less egregious breakout day on Friday. I'd be happy to be selling 23, 24, 25. And so it definitely goes onto the list of sit back and wait. I think there's a chance for this to ignite small caps a little bit. I know GME is not necessarily a small cap, but there's a world, there's other stocks that are up in the meme department as well right now. I know Huddy was bringing up a few while we were talking beforehand. We'll see what this does or doesn't do to the market, but I will not be in the business of just getting excited, clicking buttons, trying to force or predict my way into gains. I'll sit back, wait, and see what happens. I'm sure there will be a lot of people frothing at the mouth this morning to short the crap out of GME. I think there's a lot of people who want to just buy GME. Who will prevail? Only time will tell. But when I see something like this that's directly correlated to what looks like outside noise and no like fundamental reason, I definitely go into the boat of sitting on my hands, sitting back and waiting. What about you, Jimbo?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. I think volume and price action will tell the story. I think it's definitely going to be something that's on watch for the remainder of the week, as long as it's trading big volume. Not really. You're right. I'm not a huge fan of buying things that have overhead resistance or on back holder charts, but obviously volume can overwhelm selling pressure, and it can obviously take control. The buyers can. So I'm not opposed to buying it up here, but you're right. I think it needs to digest these new price levels before it really interests me. So it's not going to interest me right away at all. Uh, you're right. I'd rather be a seller at market open at this point. And we have a couple of the sympathies up as well. Let's kind of go through them. First off, the obvious one is AMC. AMC and GME were like blood brothers back in the day. They both ran together quite well. So AMC is also gapping up 15%, feeling some of that sympathetic energy in the market this morning.
Sympathetic
And
energy.
then, you like that?
Put on a shirt and put all of our favorite stocks that we ever traded that were sympathies.
I love that idea. The other one's KOSS, KOSS. Some of you that just might not know, KOSS was one that ran a bunch in the past with GME and AMC. It seems like whenever GME got like a spurt of energy, KOSS got $1 per share. That's kind of how it was back then. But we'll see if it still has that kind of staying power. So those are just kind of meme-based watch lists that I would start to create. And it's not random. That they really are tickers that ran with each other back in the day. I think Jan might have been one, but not a good one.
I think BBBY was one, right?
BBBY was kind of, yeah, definitely.
Wait, what is BBBY now?
Gone.
It's just gone forever. There's not even a ticker. Sadness. Jan. No. Jan looks like a freaking weird pumpy chart.
Yeah, it's like a low float weird guy.
Yeah, but again, kind of same rules apply for that as do for GME for me. AMC, I know Kyle's very short biased on this in the long term. Not something I want to fight. Do I think there's a world where this pops, gets a little bit of volume? Yeah, but if there's still behind the scenes selling going on where they really want this a lot lower, that will prevail in the end. But on days like today, I really just want to let the dust settle. I don't need to push buttons. It is Monday. It is mid-May. If there's going to be momentum, if there's going to be some, fireworks to come from all this, I'll sit back and wait. You know what I like to do? I like to wait for structure, wait for patterns to develop. And right now with GME, $8 a share, $7 a share over the breakout level. I've already made my money on the breakout. It was a letdown for me. And it's higher right now, and so it still goes into the boat regardless of what's going on here, why it's happening. It still goes into the boat of just let it do its thing. When is the next moment that the tide turns and the momentum switches, and maybe it's extended to the upside, and we get a potential short? Maybe it's a first green day after it runs to 30 or 35. Whatever it is, I will sit back and wait for that. I don't need to do anything with it right now, and that's not necessarily true for everybody. I'm sure there's scalpers out there, people playing this pre-market, people are going to short this gap up. Whatever it is, do you. But for me, I get happy, and I like to see that there's momentum and people talking in the market, especially in this way, because it's probably going through Twitter, going through the chat rooms, and that could potentially get people's spirits up, and maybe we get a little bit more of a chaser's market again. But I won't be predicting any of that, and I'll still be sitting back and waiting for patterns to develop.
It's always best.
It's always best. It's never the funnest, but the biggest gapper on the day is 50%. It is TV GN.
Boo.
What do you mean, ooh?
I said boo. It's a
boo. 49 million flow. Biotech company, low across the board. 195 months of cash left. Let's see if there's any news.
That's a lot.
2 days ago, so Saturday. They announced up to $50 million in financing to further advance operational objectives. Earnings 12 days ago. Yeah. Not a lot here that interests me. Daily chart is quite pathetic. Giant float. Got a gap and crap day back here in April where we're topped out in the 470s, 460s, and came all the way back down and has since faded all the way down towards $1. And I really don't have a lot to say here. Fading off itself pre-market. Looks like after hours Friday must have been the news. Or end of day Friday. Yeah, after hours. Topped out near 170 from $1. It's kind of fading right now, so maybe that gets some momentum, some juice. Not really up enough, I think, to spark a whole lot of interest short, and I don't think there is. This is definitely not something I want to long into resistance from recently, even volume recently. 10 million shares on this day, didn't do anything. Just kind of a crappy looking daily chart, top left to bottom right, that has no structure and no interest for me. If this is gapping a lot bigger into that $4 area, probably be more interested in a short. But down here at these levels, really not that far off the lows.
Yeah, it looks like a horrible chart. Some biotech that received some funding and is going to do some things with their product, and probably it's not going to end well. But for now, it's gapping up 40%.
There was another one kind of in the same world, ACIU, around 50% on the day. Let's see here. Biotech out of Switzerland, another bigger float, 58 million. News 3 hours ago was that they signed an exclusive option and license agreement for active immunotherapy targeting amyloid beta for Alzheimer's disease. And then 2 hours ago, right after that, they did their earnings. They have 20 months of cash left. Another one that has relatively no dilution. They have some ATM from 2020, but they've really tapped nothing out of it and don't seem too interested in doing that if it's been there for 4 years. Daily chart, up 47%. Let's go back and see if there's any history. Kind of a bigger float, bigger market cap here. Kind of been sideways for a couple years in this range of 2 to 5. So really not that much of a mover. Relatively low volume throughout its period, and then when it does get volume, it's either a big gap and crap or kind of a normal, what looks to be like a mid to large cap type of spike on a day where it just kind of has a big volume day, goes up, and then trends for a while. So I don't really anticipate this one coming into our world of small cap land and being a crazy volatile runner. Expect this to kind of be more chill, more methodical, and either fade or kind of just grind. No interest there for me.
And then, well, CCG tried to become a real gapper for a sec.
Oh, it just popped up on mine. What do we got here?
Some insurance company.
In the last 3 minutes or 5 minutes, 190s to 380s coming back down to reality, kind of early here in the stages of whatever news is coming out. Chi Group, or Che out of China, 21 million float, low across the board again. 5 minutes ago, they announced a partnership with Volkswagen Digital Sales and Services to better support Volkswagen's Anui's Nev insurance business. China company, okay. Not the smallest of floats either. 106 months of cash left. D-SPAC. Big gap and crap-ish day that actually ran a bit before fading off back in February. Let's go further back on the daily chart. Looks like it was some sort of like IPO type of thing where it ran big, then got murdered all the way down to $5 a share, $4 a share. It's been down there pretty much this whole time since 2023. And it's only up 17% now by the time I'm done talking about it. Looks like it was just a little pop and drop, which we see often. Here they don't hold up long enough to even be talked about. Let's see if it can go red here.
So sad.
So nothing to really talk about Che. I would imagine it's very difficult for this one to hold up, but we'll see here in the next 5-10 minutes. Bye-bye, Che.
I like the name.
Cool name. Let's see. So that's all the gappers. I don't see anything else that's related to meme world. Jan is up a little bit. AMC is actually up there at 17%. That's sad. What's your overall thoughts around gappers as we enter a new week?
Sad. I'm overall sad. I need gappers. I need gappers to live. I need gappers to spur on volatility. So It feels like my temperature setting remains quite low for small cap until we get gappers back, and gappers set up in multi-day breakouts, and breakouts go further and you get continuation, then first red days, and the whole framework appears. It's really hard for all of that to transpire when you don't have a lot of stocks in play. So it kind of gives me that temperature setting to continue to be patient, pick my spots meticulously, and just because GME is gapping up doesn't mean it's like load the guns and start firing from the hip. Still gotta be meticulous, and when the market turns back on and we see more gappers and we see more volume, it'll be a little bit more time to pick out some more weapons and spray and pray, for lack of a better word.
You're not firing from the hip,
but until not right now. In February we were.
Yeah, gappers have just been slow. We have not had really any gapper go nuts where it holds up past noon. Haven't had many 100% plus gappers at all over the past 2-3 weeks. I don't even know when this started. I feel like it was a lot of. There was some in April. April that we had them and they were fading. In May, we pretty much had just no gappers. It's not uncommon now to have 50%, 60% kind of be the biggest gapper of the day. That's just unfortunate, but it's the times we go in. Gappers, I think Huddie's been saying this all year, go through spurts, 1 to 2 week cycles where we have lots of them. Then they kind of cool off. Then we have lots of them cool off. We're moving into the summer. So to me, really anything is possible and anything can happen, whether it's a slow summer, a fast summer, a choppy summer. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see. That's the cool thing about gappers is you wake up every morning, there's a chance for a new beginning. There's always potential for it to be on the horizon. I can't just flip the switch and just have a bunch of charts out there that are great daily charts now because we need runners to start that fire. But with gappers, it could literally happen tomorrow. It could happen in the next 21 minutes before the open. You never know. That's the cool thing about them. But if that's something you do and that's something you trade, whether it's the long side or the short side, it's just about sitting back, waiting, being patient for them to show themselves. And then maybe you start firing from the hip, as Huddie said.
Yeah, it's not really my favorite type of market when the gappers of the day are, stocks that don't really fit my preferred market cap of stocks, right? This isn't really my niche. GME, I don't really want to trade a $25 ticker, let alone the fact that it's gapping up $7 over where it closed yesterday. The other things I saw moving last week were some OTCs. Really don't want to go there right now, but just going to keep watching all the things that are moving, and again, just pick spots carefully if I have to, and just be aware of what's causing these things to move right now. I mean, it's interesting for sure. It might create some opportunity. Who knows?
Yeah, let's see if there's any questions here. Gerald says, Bow is tweeting, shorting the pre-market pump and dumps that us longs are losing on this morning. LOL, dang, he's good. I call myself a long, and I haven't been losing anything pre-market today, nor really ever. Just because something's running or gapping doesn't mean you have to click buttons pre-market unless that is your main strategy. But I mean, what's GME? Looks like it's been a pretty solid morning on GME. I don't know what it's about to break highs this morning right now, but interesting to see. Gerald also says, do you guys think lower interest rates are coming? I saw Jet Kellogg's thing with Sykes recently where he said he thought so. Just curious. Low interest rates equal bull market ? I think that's a stretch. I think that's also a promotion for a product. So probably want you to think that. But I don't predict. Huddie probably knows a whole lot more about interest rates and the actual that side of the market, that side of the real world more than I do. But I don't think I think we've had higher interest rates. We have had plenty of good surges in the market in terms of breakouts working, gappers going. I think everything is just kind of cyclical and it moves when it wants to move. And I don't want to draw too many comparisons. And again, I never want to get into the place where I am going, okay, election year, hot, buy everything. Or Bitcoin's moving, buy everything. Or short everything. Or interest rates are up, sell the market. I don't think that way. I, again, am just looking at technical analysis. If something is moving and it sets up in a pattern, I want to trade it. And if it doesn't, I leave it alone. And I don't really ever think too much about interest rates when I'm making my plan. Huddie?
I think you said it well. I don't really think the interest rates have that big of a correlation to small cap. are like independent tickers that do set up for multi-day breakouts and start to squeeze like interest rates high, interest rates low. I think that's always going to be happening. I didn't hear the first part because you were kind of breaking up. I didn't understand the question, but
I just said
I think
that
you're right on your answer.
Jack and Sykes are saying that low interest rates are coming, so there's a bull market coming.
And that sounds like marketing copy.
Yeah, there's no real way of knowing. If it is, then it is. If it isn't, then it isn't. I try to approach
Yeah.
every day like I don't like. I really try to
Focus
be
on
as
today.
ignorant as possible, because and all that stuff just helps create bias for yourself that generally only really can hurt you if you're wrong. And if you're right, the patterns are still going to be there. We're going to have gappers. We're going to have runners. If we have a bull market, I won't need to be like, oh, it was because of the interest rates. I'll just be like, we have a hot market now, and I'm just going to trade it the same way I would any hot market. And so, um, yeah, I a lot of the times do end up knowing why things happen, but I really just am waiting for price action to show it to me, because technicals and price action are usually all that we're trading, and we're trading these things for a short period of time. So all I need to know is that stock go up, stock go sideways, it break out, I buy, or it goes up, I short. And the more ignorant I am, the less bias I have, and the better my perspective, and the less regrets I have, and the less I get too excited about one way or another.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I used to be told by those guys all the time, like, stop trying to predict the market, stop trying to predict what's going to happen, just be prepared and come to the market every day to work, right? And all of a sudden you find yourself in a hot market and you're pushing buttons. You find yourself in a cold market and you're not pushing as many buttons. But like, you can't be like, oh, June's coming up and interest rates are maybe going down. Let's saddle up my account. Like, what's what's the game plan there, right? Just trade every day like it's your last day trading, and trade well.
It's well put, Jimbo Slice. Yeah, and I hope we do have some sort of speed up. I hope in the next day or two we do get some gappers, or GME does light the market on fire, because we do have the all-day webinar on Wednesday, and I want there to be action. I want Kyle to be clicking buttons. I want him to be throwing around size. And if you want access to that, you still have 2 days to do so. And just a reminder, on Wednesday we won't have normal live trading like we do at 9:15 a.m. On Wednesday right here on YouTube, because we will be locked into the all-day webinar. If you want access to that, link in the description. You got up to the day of to sign up, because we will be live from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. A full day of live trading. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be able to answer any questions you guys have if you don't have access to us over at Clover, to get all of your more in-depth questions answered that we don't normally have time for over here on YouTube when we're just doing a 20 to 30-minute show. So sign up for that if you want access to us for the whole day. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be all three of us. Maybe we'll have a guest or two. We will see. But it's going to be fun, and I'm excited for it. And I really hope that the market can come around, because it's been slow the last week. We've had opportunities. We've had trades. We've had stuff run like JAGX, AGBA, GME. There's sporadically been placed decent opportunities that have been pretty good to the long side, to be honest. There hasn't been a whole lot of like extended stuff that I'm really all that interested in shorting. And I would think Kyle would probably agree with that as well. The short bias watch lists are just not there right now. I can't tell you the last time I put something on the first red day short on my watch list. But there has been a lot that I've been watching for breakouts. So we'll see if that continues this week. But that wraps up this morning on the 13th of May, 2024. We look forward to seeing all you Clovers in the room right now. We'll get you guys your webinar schedule today as well. And if you want access to that all-day webinar, link in the description. Head on over to clovertrading.io, where you can get access to us for a full trading day. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 8:45 a.m. for Good Morning NASDAQ right here on YouTube. And we hope that you have a great start.